Pleased. My name is Jeff Chiba Sterns. I am an animation filmmaker based in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I have the unique pleasure today to be interviewing two phenomenal, remarkable, and esteemed filmmakers from Estonia, Priit Pärn and Olga Pärn. And I am conducting this interview on behalf of Spark Animation 2022, and this is part of the Indie Animation series. And before I lead in with formal introductions to the both of you, I'm going to read a bio just so that people who may not be familiar with your catalog of work, I'll get to know a little bit more about you. So Priit, you are an Estonian cartoonist and animation director whose films have enjoyed success among critics as well as the public in various film festivals. Some of your acclaimed films include Triangle, Breakfast on the Grass, and Night of the Carrots. You have been active as a caricaturist and illustrator since the end of the 1960s. And you've had over 30 solo exhibitions in various European countries, along with Canada. He has also worked as a teacher since 1990, teaching all over the world at film schools. You're also a member of the European Film Academy since 2008. Your works have won many awards, especially in Europe. In 2002, Pärn was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Animated Film Association and has received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the World Festival of Animated Film in Zagreb. You are married to your lovely wife who's sitting next to you, Olga Pärn, who has also helped co-direct some of your important films such as Divers in the Rain. Olga, who is sitting next to you, just like your husband, is an illustrator, animator, and film director. You hold a degree from Minsk Lyceum of Art and Belarus, is it Belarus? Yeah, Academy of Art. Olga Pärn has been living in Estonia since 2006. As of late, in 2016, her latest project was Pilots on the Way Home. You may have more actually, because might be an older bio, but you co-directed this with your husband. The film has won many awards since it's released and was produced by the National Film Board of Canada. She has also co-directed with Priit The Eyeless Hunter, is this the Kahanti story? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right, and Divers in the Rain, and this one's tough for me. Ma Kuklas Tunen? How did I do with that? Is that bad? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Much better than my pronunciation. You're a children's book illustrator, and you illustrated a book called Telephone Tales. Is that correct? Awesome.
Yes, as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had the great, unique pleasure of speaking with Keith Blackmore a little bit earlier when we were doing the introductions, and he asked you both, had you ever been to Vancouver? Because this is where the Spark Animation Festival is based. I'm also based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. You mentioned a little bit about a connection to Canada, but maybe not having traveled this far out west. Where have you been in Canada, and how do you enjoy your time here?
I let Priit tell first, because Priit visited Canada few times.
Yes, I have been in Ottawa, Animation Film Festival for first time. It was something like 96, maybe.
1996.
1996, then 1998.
It was with 1895. The film called 1895.
1895, it was, yeah. So then was Night of the Carrots. And then it was student competition. I was with my Finnish students. I don't remember the year.
From Turku.
Yeah, from Turku. So it was Ottawa.
Fun.
I think I like more Montreal and especially Quebec.
But you never been in Vancouver?
No.
No, it's never been this far west. Well, we hope.
I heard about this, that it's really, really lovely place. So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Lots of wildlife and forests, and so we'll have to get you out here. We'll have to get you out to Vancouver, hopefully maybe at a future Spark Animation Festival. We'll talk about your future work, and maybe hopefully we can get that here and screen it, and you can come visit, because it would be great to have you out here. So you guys are coming, you're all the way in Estonia. We got quite the time difference here. It's evening time there, morning time for me, but whereabouts in Estonia are you both right now?
Tell again.
Oh, where in Estonia are you both?
We're exactly in Estonia, yeah.
What city? Is it a...
Tallinn, we can see, if we look
Yeah.
to this direction, we can see from our window, we are now on top of our house. We can see Estonian capital, Tallinn.
Okay.
Directly, it's like over the bay, 8 kilometers. But to drive to center of town, it's 15 minutes by car. So, but we officially we
1 kilometer out.
1 kilometer out from Tallinn.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the capital city.
Like from sea, it's about 100 meters.
Oh, fantastic. I have never been. I hope one day I get to visit. It seems like a lovely, lovely place. I've been to Slovenia and a few places.
Yeah.
We would be happy to have you in.
You know, we have a lot of friends, like after we've been in National Film Board for working on pilots on the way home for the sound with Olivier Calvert. So that's, we have a lot of friends, and so we're like talking, oh, I'm coming to your continent. You know, so that's, you have definitely other perception, you know, so for you, like we are all in Europe. So that's, and for us, Europe is so big, you know, so when you go to travel somewhere to Croatia or to France or to Spain, so it's far, but for you, it's like your continent.
Yeah. Oh, and do you have how are the film festivals in Estonia? Do you have a big festival that is quite celebrated?
We have huge festival, but it's not animation festival. It's called Black Night Film Festival. It's category A of feature film festival, and it's a really huge. No, it's grow really huge. I think it's many years old, in fact. So it's for decades already. Yeah, so that's
25.
Yeah, so that's and unfortunately they had one animation
part of the festival. It was called Animated Dreams,
but unfortunately they decided to change it to the short film festival. So it's still exists and it's called Perf Shorts, but so it's doesn't have all categories, for example, that normally animation festival has. So that's we hope for the future that it will be reborn.
To be part of such kind, let's say, real festival, animation is always small brother, you know. So even for media, there are no space for animation, even if it exists Animated Dreams. So,
or let's say less space, you know. So that's
it would be nice to have outside all this, but we are filmmakers. We're not festival owners.
Of course, yes.
But still, if you could find the moment, because it's now we have, you know, so in Estonia there is two very important moments. It's connected to midsummer and to midwinter with the Yolud, so that's Christmas time. And so this Black Film Festival, it's in November. It's the darkest nights really in Estonia. So that's, you have a day starting at 12 o'clock and finishing at 4 o'clock. So you have just 4 hours of light, and basically.
Oh, really?
So
north, very north.
Yeah, and it's perfect time to watch the films. That's true.
Nice. Well, this is fun. So I'm friends with Alison Snowden and David Fine, who are an amazing animation filmmaking couple. Do you know Alison and David? They've been nominated for Academy Awards, won an Academy Award for Bob's Birthday. They worked a lot with the National Film Board. But what I love about that is they're a husband-wife animation team, and they work on all their films together. And they're based here in Vancouver, actually. And so it's very rare I get to meet like these husband-wife animation teams. There's not very many out there because I don't know. Sometimes like my wife has nothing to do with animation, thankfully, because I think if she did, we'd be just, I don't know, we'd be nuts. This would be a crazy house. But for both of you, I love to sort of hear these stories about how did you connect? Was it, you know, like this is silly, but what drew you to each other? I guess I'm assuming it has something to do with animation, maybe brought you together. What got you guys what brought you together as a team, and also just as husband and wife? Like what was the story? There's always got to be a fun story. Is there a fun story?
How we met?
Yeah.
How'd you guys?
Yeah.
No, it's. I think it wasn't so fun because it was year was 2005.
Hmm?
It was half a year earlier. My wife died. By the way, she had been in Vancouver, and she said that it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. So I don't plan to make any more animation, but there are a school in France called Le Poudrière, and Olga have been studied there like in second year. It was 2 years.
Yes.
And they invite me to have workshop 1 week. So then we met there, and I was tutoring Olga's diploma work a little bit. And then we changed emails like almost 1 year. Met twice, and then
We met in Annecy after the workshop, and we met in France. Again, it was one festival invited both of us. So that's no, again. So I mean, under Vendôme. So
but then maybe the story starting a bit fun, because we decided that Olga coming into Estonia, and we're going to live together. We don't plan to work together. But this time, you know, yeah, it's not about nuances, but Olga was Belarusian citizen, and to get visa for Estonia, there was one possibility that some company giving her job.
Wow.
And then we made small film in this Natunnel Kuklas school.
It's a poetry film.
Poetry film,
It's based on Estonian poetry. Very beautiful. Yeah.
And Olga get visa for 6 months, I think. So it was not our plans at 6 months. We had real plans for future. So we started to work on film, and it's my longest film, and for Olga, it's called Life Without Gabriela Ferri. Finally, it was 44 minutes. And then she got like long-term visa and so on, so on. Then it was so busy time. So immediately this film, and it was a really tough project that we did. For example, in certain moment, we understood that there are more than 700 backgrounds for us. And I did all layouts, and so it seems that it's impossible to finish it. So it was very busy time, and finally it was ready in 2008, and then we married because of a little bit more.
Before we didn't have time, you know.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's amazing, and it's neat that animation drew you both together, right? Which is kind of a really kind of unique thing when you can find love through animation. And speaking of love through animation,
people like to think that we started to work together and then we find each other, but it's opposite. We find each other,
and then the animation came.
Work together, and finally, I think it's the best what would even happen. If you can. There are no any limits. You can talk with this person what you like, not if you're working with some another person, maybe first time, or you have to be like very soft and with silk
gloves, like a rabbit,
approach, that what do you think if I'm saying, so we can do, very direct.
No, but Jeff, so that's when we met first time in La Poudrière in France, so we've been talking a lot, about the workshop so there was two very important moments, let's say. There were a lot, but one was that we discovered that we both were working with gravure, with a forge. With it's gravure on the metal, etching.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
We both it's so rare way of making art, let's say. So that's and we both were big fans of that. So we were talking
Olga
a lot about
graduated Art Academy, and she specialized on etchings.
Yeah.
And for me, there was period about 15 years when it was like main thing what I did. So
by the way, you see here is that that this machine is on
press
after us.
Press, yeah.
Press. So it's covered with animation papers, but we all these years we living together say one moment we make a small pause with the film and we will do etchings and we will do it, but
nice.
Just to show you that it's here, so that's. And it was one moment, and it's important because all aesthetics that we try to recreate in our films is connecting to etchings, so that's after that we could show you some examples from the book, like
fantastic, yes.
Yeah, Priit's etching. So that's it was a big theme for both of us. And another theme I was asking, so that's me and my classmates from La Poudrière, we all were the fans of Priit films, so that's how we first met. I saw his films in the school, so because those times, 2004, it was not still that possibility through internet. So I was in Belarus, and I knew that there is Priit Pärn, Estonian animation, but I never saw them. So that's when I came to France, it was one of the first things that I was searching for the films. So that's as we were all big fans of Priit as director and animation director, I was asking him. So we knew what tragedy he was living through, and I was asking, do you plan to make a film? And Priit said to me that I have a name of the script of the film. So it was Life.
But I don't planning to do this.
Yes, but you talk about it. So it was Life Without Gabriela Ferri, and he explained to me what idea he had. So the very first basic idea, he told to me there in France. So and it's went 1 year before he started to write a real script. So that's our relationship. It's like, how to say, inspired him to start again, to make films. So
right. Oh, it's fantastic, right? Because I went to animation school in Vancouver at the Emily Carr University, and it's quite a renowned school for independent animation. And Priit's films were always played in the film in our school. So I had an early introduction in university to your work as well, Priit. And even through the festival circuit, we'd always kind of have a film out at the same time. So I'd always see your work. Like Pilots on the Way Home came out in 2014, and I just released a film that I worked on with Marv Newland and a bunch of other amazing animators, and it went to Ottawa. And so I was seeing your film all over the place. So we've had this weird kind of I've known of your work, and so it's quite special for me to be able to have this conversation with you, being a fan as well, right? So, but I always love to take it back, because for me, as someone who is an animator and loves animation and loves the history of animation, I always have to ask animators when I meet them, when was that spark lit in you? Was it did you watch certain animations as children in Estonia or wherever you grew up? Where did you grow up? And how did those early animations maybe light that fire, in wanting to eventually be crazy enough to do it, right? Because, I don't think anyone knows, when you mention all this time you spend together, making these films, people who do classical animation and people who understand that know that it takes hours and days and years sometimes to make films. So that's a lot of time spent together. So obviously, that has to, you're either just nuts obsessive compulsive, I don't know what it is in us, but what was it for you, that early spark? Like, what do you remember that moment when you're like, animation's it, I'm gonna do it? Or like, what got you really keen on animation?
It was a time when I was like kid and schoolboy, and there was basically I remember time when TV doesn't exist, you know. Then it was with very small screen like this, and we don't see all this American stuff. And it's in certain moment, but it was already mid-70s when I graduated. I studied biology and I graduated from Tartu, and I worked 6 years like ecologist. But my big love, it was humor and caricature. So I started to draw caricatures, and I think it's for if you're planning to be animated filmmaker, it's very good preparation. I don't plan to be this, but playing with these images, you know, situations and so on. But in certain moment, I came to play with images, with lines, to make tricks with this. So it's kind of way of thinking that you are able to destroy reality and put it together in wrong way, but with certain, maybe sometimes idiotical, but mainly idiotical logic to get some strange, it's maybe not exactly funny, it's all funny, but strange results. And from this to animation is quite short step. And this time, there was no animation school in Estonia. All our filmmakers, they just came from somebody had like art education. Quite many was like me, that they don't have no art education, but they want to make film. And first thing, why I went, maybe the reason, I want to make metamorphosis. You know, to change one image to another, to play with deepness on the third this measure, and I made, it was my second film. It's called Unplayed Tricks, and it was enough for me. One film, I understood what is metamorphosis. It's how to make them. It's quite easy to change one image to another. To get funny results, it's not so easy. But then I was already inside of system, and maybe it was good because I actually started to make films almost without influences from this big animation world.
Yeah.
When I was like beginner in caricatures, I had influences mainly from Eastern Europe, Poland, this time Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic. Through them, maybe from France, from UK. And so my roots, they are not so strongly in Estonia. This, what about visual influences and
spark? The spark was, more from Poland or Czech Republic and from caricature, so that's no, but Priit was drawing from I think from the very beginning that he was born. So that's himself. He don't tell this, but I was talking to his classmates from the school. I mean, from so they said that he was drawing a lot. So that's all the time.
It was really bad results of the drawing. So
that doesn't matter.
It's taking time to work out your own style. And
always.
What I find that a lot of like great drawing people, if you saw drawing from earlier period of them. You don't recognize them. You think it can't be like that. It's the same. That a lot of them came to this their final level around age 35.
Wow.
So and maybe quite the same was also with me.
Mhm.
Mm.
Jeff, how old are you?
Oh, how old do I look?
35.
Oh, I like you. I'm 43. So you know, I'm actually, yeah. I started animating. Well, I grew up, you know, watching Saturday morning cartoons in North America, and then getting into independent animation as a teenager and really starting to love that format of you just doing whatever you want, making whatever you want, creating anything you want. I learned about independent animation when I was watching the Oscars, and I saw you could win an Oscar for animation. I thought, oh, this is cool. I want to win an Oscar one day. So I just started drawing stuff and I thought I'm going to make a movie one day and I'm going to win an Oscar. So that goal is still, it's still in the pipeline. I'm hoping one day, but you know, Olga, what about you? Same thing. Like, what sparked your curiosity for animation? Like, did you watch a lot of animation growing up as well too, or did you always love to draw? What was that inspiration for you?
I think animation, it's no, okay, it's always started from the spark, but then it's a big, huge fire all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, in your head. So that's even if you are infected, so it's fatal. I mean, it's for all life. Yeah, animation. Yeah, for me, it was that I was drawing also, like from the very beginning. But then, you know, so my family, I am the child of animation family. So
Oh, you are?
my mom,
Okay.
yeah, my mom is an animation director, and so she was an architect, but then she changed to animation. And one important thing about Priit that you know, in the Soviet Union, there was no school, like the school and the film animation and their teaching of animation was centralized. It was in Moscow. I mean, so that's for example, my mom, she was architect, and then if you wanted to start to be the animation director, you had to enter the school for, like, it's called high school after graduate school for directors. So she was accepted and she started to make films, but it was very big journey. And so that's I was already like with her. I was 7 years old when she started to do it, and she discovered the technique of sand. So I was near her, and when I was looking how she's working, I was always thinking that it's so complicated. I will never do this, you know. So no way in my life, you know. So I went to the finally I continued as an artist, and I went to graphic art, you know. But finally I finished to work with my mom, and she teach me the sand animation technique. And then you know, so exactly, I didn't want to go to the centralized system. Priit was very lucky to grow up outside of it, you know. So that's it's true.
Yeah, but one thing what is important, because if I would be, you know, find that, oh, I want to make animated films, and would start to discover like bicycle to do all by yourself. There was already animation studio in Tallinn. It's drawing studio. It was made a couple of years before I finally went to studio. I first made 2 films, just design, and then they invite me. They need one director more. They invite me. I decided to change my career. I went to studio.
Because Priit was the legend already, you know, so as caricaturist in Estonia, he was very loved and known.
But it's not important.
It is.
Important is that there was this, in every Soviet republic, there was animation studio built up by Disney system. So it was in 30s, I think, they sent one guy to this studio who learn everything there, come back, and so there was script writers and director and animators, in-betweeners, cleanup people. So, and it was in Estonia also. There was about 35, 25, 30 people working.
Tallinn Film
yeah,
Studio.
let's say 5 animators. So, and it was like factory, like machine, but work very well, systematically. So if I came and I know what I want, I was totally beginner, but I know what I want. So you just put your ideas and your layouts and into this machine, and this machine, you know, give you final result. So it's totally different. So you can think in big categories. Not if you starting your film alone with what with students, you know, they having idea and they're going to develop this, but there are censor. Censor was in Soviet Union as different, you know, as political. But now there are censor sitting in your head. And for example, you have seen there will be 10 people, you know. Okay, you know that you have to draw it alone. You decided that it's 5, and then finally there are 2. So you start to think in even you don't understand this. But if you know that you don't need to make this alone, but you're having special people for doing this, then the result could be like really, how to say, surprising also for yourself. Of course, that it was Soviet Union, and animation was art for children. So, and they controlled this very stuff. It was kind of, cinema was strong channel of propaganda. So, and I did my, I think 3 or 4 films. So I don't did this what I promised. So the script was very different, but they accepted. I have to go to Moscow, so this was a long way. And then I took risk and I did what I want. Risk was that if they will catch you really, you'll never get the next film. So I was in a way lucky, but it's so long story, and there are really very funny things, you know, all what how this happened. It's but it's not for tonight, because it's then we finish a week later.
Right. Well, you know, and this is what's really interesting is that I saw The Triangle when I was at animation school, and it was the first film that I had ever seen of yours. And it wasn't like anything I'd ever seen, right? Like at that point, you know, I'd watched a lot of different, you know, animators, you know, North American animators, European animators, but there was something very unique, and it still stuck with me, that film. Like weeks after I watched it, I'm like, what did I just watch, right? Like it was, there's something just, there's this pacing, this bizarreness, this surrealism, there's this sort of just this very, I can't even describe it to anybody, right? And I think, like, what is in your head, Priit? Like, what's going on in there to be able to like emulate what's, it feels like what's in your head comes out exactly as you want to animate it. That's what I feel.
Who asking this, Priit, what is going on in your head?
Yeah.
Even I heard Estonians asking this, you know, not on the outside.
Aki Kauris finished.
Yeah, finished everything. Yeah.
Famous, yeah. So I think it's kind of it's again, it's background of caricatures, you know, kind of systematic approaching to, if you're having like triangle, it's actually what we did. We said that it's based on Estonian fairy tale.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Estonian fairy tale exists, but it's just that under this oven coming somebody cooking and coming small person and eating our food, but then it's totally different. So But if you thinking about the structure, no, this it's really triangle. There are a man and woman, and she cooking for him. Now this small guy coming, eating this, and coming second time, and third time, and even fourth time. So it's kind of line. Now what I'm doing, I try to create things that's happening that it's repeating, but they don't repeating in the same level. It's always different, I'm putting some, I think this script, script was half of A4, half of page.
Oh yeah.
Just describing, it's coming and going away, eating. So now, but there are very clear structures. So you're going to work out these tricks, what actually happening. And this feeling, she liked to cook. So I always been talking about my films. I'm not able to say I did because it's teamwork, and it's mean we did this. So how it's happening, what's happening, and this feeling that she liked to cook for him, and in certain moment it's coming out that it's no different for who she cooking,
Well, it's remarkable, right? Like this,
Yeah.
what you're able to do in these films, and I really encourage like all the viewers who are watching this to go seek out your work, because it's unlike anything that they've ever probably experienced, right? And leaves you thinking, which I think is important, right? But I want to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, Priit, because, and both of you, Olga, when I was in school, Estonian animation was always seen as like the echelon of like independent animation. Like for some reason, everyone's like, what's in the water in Estonia that's producing all this amazing animation? And that's what everyone would talk about, this Estonian animation, this little country in the northern Europe, and I didn't even know what Estonia was when I was in high school. I was like, what is going on in Estonia? So what is it about this sort of legendary sort of, I guess, this mythos, I guess, of like Estonian animation and why it's sort of regarded as like the great independent animation country? I know, Priit, you're probably part of that. Olga, you're part of that. But living there, do you see people talk about Estonian animation in that regard, in that light? Or are you just like, yes, we are the best? And this is, like what?
No, even, in some festival, we just had this in Zagreb months ago. There was 2 Japanese animators who actually have been educated in Canada.
I think in Vancouver, probably.
Yeah, and they're living
in Australia.
They're living in Australia.
Wow.
And we went to airport from festival with the same car, and we're talking, and suddenly this guy asked me, "Are you Mr. Pärn?" I said, "Yes." And they started like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry." So
they were stressed that they didn't recognize him immediately.
Nothing similar never happening in Estonia. We are nobody here. It's strange, but it's so.
No, it's very interesting theme, but very long. So why inside of Estonia the people knew that there is some India animation, and they knew their authors, but it's more looked as a bizarre thing, or so that for them it's very like strange why this animation is so big outside of Estonia. They don't understand it.
But of course, we have to talk about what is time. It's one time is now.
Yeah, that's true.
This what was let's say a golden period of Estonian animation. Let's start 80s, mid 80s, and 90s. So it was puppet film studio. It exists already from 56, I think. And when I came, it was beginning of 70s. It was very stagnated. I really hate this what they did.
It was normal Soviet animation.
Soviet
Yeah.
animation.
So that's,
So, but in this drawing studio, how I said, I play risky game, and then also some other people started trying to fool this authority, and step by step, everybody, not everybody, but mainly if you're talking now, I have been 45 years in animation. Again, they're asking how it was in Soviet time with the censorship and so on. Actually, if I made my first directed film in 78, and Breakfast on the Grass we started 86. So it's less than 10 years. And even it was still Soviet Union, we did exactly what we want. And nobody says that you have to cut out this and this and this. So this Soviet power, it's already go to die. So it was kind of period, and this was, I think there are no real explanation. It just happens that a lot of young people suddenly, now we started with drawing animation to do something really different and different on world level. And maybe one good thing was that we really don't know what's happening in the world. And then suddenly, in mid-80s, similar thing happened in puppet animation studio. Quite many of young people came, and everybody wanted to make. We never had like one school, but everybody tried to make his own way. To make, and we have been all very good friends. Even we don't try to be similar and play the same music, It's, and of course, everything in life, it's kind of waves or pendulum, It's going from now, it's on the top, and then it's going out from the top. So maybe now there are not the best times in Estonian animation, and basically it's everywhere. It's connected to money. In Soviet Union, it was you had certain money, but you need to make this what they promise they was allowed to make.
It's like in Breakfast on the Grass.
Yeah.
It's like in the beginning of the film, you have written that it's devoted to the artist who did what they were allowed to do. Yeah.
And so, and now in new times, it means that if there are, let's say, what we can call cultural money, it means that it's taxpayer money, what is government decided through Ministry of Culture, it's going to theater, this to music, this to filmmaking. It's very good. It's giving possibility to make art of this country. But there are one very important link. It means that here is money. Money is given, let's say, to animated filmmakers, but there are somebody who making decision to whom to give this money. And this is very important because if let's imagine that I am this person who have to decide this money going to you or to Olga.
Or to what project also?
No, but the project, this means that, and then in certain moments, these people starting to think that, let's say, your film is very poetic. It's like to explain what your poetry means. It's then it's destroying this poetry. Now, but now I have to explain to authorities or to people why I give money to you, and it's very hard to explain. But if, for example, Olga having, showing that this is good, this is bad, very primitive situation.
Or very nice cat,
Yeah, a very nice cat, yeah. So, and for me, it's very easy to explain, said that I did very good job. And step by step, you the same people staying a long time in this position. Around of them, coming filmmakers who is doing exactly what this person needs. And mainly this person never made films or made sometimes.
Or they are not taking care of poetry, let's say, or the art of of the art, something what the huge public don't understand or don't value, so, or afraid.
Could you imagine if the same situation would be with writers or poets, that somebody giving you permission to write this novel, and saying that,
or to write this novel, or this poem. Yeah.
No, not all the novels. No, writer, they saying you can write this only 200 pages, no more.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, just 50.
It depends.
Well, and I want to transition a little bit, because what's interesting about when you say public funding, like Canada is very good about, we have a good art system in place where, animation is funded. You guys worked with the National Film Board of Canada, which is really remarkable, because obviously, like, they're a really renowned government funded, film agency, right? And so you guys worked on a film together called Pilots on the Way Home. And as I mentioned to you before, we kind of were doing the circuit together, but we never crossed paths, but I saw your film a lot, right? And I probably saw your film at least 5-6 times over the course of that, because I go to these animation festivals and I'd see it up there and I'd watch it. And every time I'd watch it, like, what are they doing? I'm trying to, what is this whole, I think more and more into it. But what I love about the film is that it really is a true collaboration between you two. Like, there's that sand animation, the textures, the etchy style, right? That, Priit is so known for. Can you talk a little bit about how that all came together?
Do you know that it's all is sand, all visual is sand, because it's few festivals we send, and you have to write that what is technique, sand animation. And then you can see in catalog that drawing on paper and sand. No, it's also drawing on sand. We create a special technique. So I first draw in very thin layer of sand, white line in dark surface, and then we turn this into negative.
In computer, so that's it's through Dragon Frame.
Then using this this my result, Olga, using Dragon Frame, she made with very rough sand all these shadows and darkness and lightness.
There is two different sands, so,
and it was put together
in computer again.
Oh, interesting.
In After Effects. So so that's the Priit's line. Why we did it? The line is in also in the sand, because it's like when Priit made this line with the further, so it's like, and it's the line is very
it's
fury.
Similar if you know dry point graphical techniques.
Yeah. So that's
so the line is very scratchy. It's not like wire.
It's really not possible. If you imagine to make, I know one Japanese guy who tried to make some film in etching. I mean, there was some flower or something. So it's take to him, I think, 2 or 3 years to make like 2 minutes. So that's and in that complicated picture of pilots. So that's to make a line in etching. It would be. It's really impossible, so that's to print it, and then so that's. But in this kind of so we created with Priit, so nobody invented this before, so it was really our invention, so that's you could find the making of what I did a little bit, so that's
Oh, you
it's
can. Okay.
free. It's
we
free
show
online. Yeah. So
how-
if you tap
how it's
that
made.
pilots on the way home and making of, it will give you immediately the free link. So that's in Vimeo. So we invented it. So it's giving this kind of very etching etching image, so that's
like etching, etching with aqua tinta.
Dry point with aqua tinta.
Yeah,
so
dry
that's,
point with aqua tinta.
So
but to making this graphic technique one frame, it would take 1 week maybe.
Jeez.
But we made 16 minutes just with two, So
yeah,
and this film got 2 prizes on festivals for sound.
Even 3, I think, or something
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody mentions that it's visually something something special.
Well, and that always, it's animation is one of the most misunderstood art forms to ever exist, because people don't appreciate that art that goes into it. Like for myself, I never could draw like Disney. I just started sketching and being crazy and weird. And then it established my entire career, right? But people don't realize that's 4,000, 5,000 line art drawings, right? Same with what you guys did as well, too. So when it comes to this idea of like how you guys are collaborating, it's really nice to hear, how you're working in tandem together to achieve this look and to get this feel. In terms of like creating the story for something like that, is it a collaboration between the two of you to come up with the story? Or you guys like stream of consciousness, or what's coming?
Story is Priit, but
Okay.
so when, for example, he is writing it, we talk a lot.
Yeah,
so I'm like a sparring partner.
Like,
Okay.
in boxing, you having partner at home. You can every moment. You can talk about what idea you got.
But finally is Priit. So and the construction is also Priit. He has so.
It's coming up. But also when you guys are creating a film like that, is there a team of people also animating, or is it just you sitting there, doing the drawing, or are you guys working together?
Only film what is pilots, it's animated by me.
By Priit, exactly.
But I never thought that I am animated. I can do this, but mainly we're working with studio. So there are right now film what we're making. There are 2 animators. No, it's bit different technique.
But Priit drawing a huge amount of layouts and K drawings. So that's when we had lectures for the students. I was explaining about techniques, and I said that this is the difference between this Disney system and, for example, Priit Pärn system, because in Disney system they are round, in fact, so that's you draw this character and then you work with this exactly.
Yeah, good animator.
So they know they look like exactly the same, but when Priit layouts, it's graphical. So so that's, if Diego, if you remember Diego from Night of the Carrots, so he exists only in profile. There is the D, the letter D on
just
his
only in profile, but he can move just
from
left
right
from
right
left.
to left. Yeah, exactly.
His letter D in his face,
is readable only this way, so that's
my heroes, they are flat. And so if I creating this layout, I like to have this person exactly like this. So if I made such kind Diego, for example, it's my problem to give to animate enough drawings that because how they know how I want to be this. So I drawing layouts maybe 2-3 per second.
It's a lot.
I see. Well, yeah, and I love the way you guys use classical techniques, right? Like I'm a very old school animator. I don't use computers as much as I don't have to. I like to draw tactile, pen on paper as much as possible. So I really encourage people to watch Pilots on the Way Home on the National Film Board website. It's free. People can watch it for free on the website. But and then the sound design, all the films, amazing sound design, I can understand that too. But I have a quick question because I didn't know this when I was doing some research, and I grew up as a 90s child and I watched a lot of cartoons, you know, even into my teenage years. And I watched a lot of like animation on Nickelodeon. And I was reading that you had inspired the look of Rugrats and like Aaahh! Real Monsters. And then I started like going back and looking at your work. I'm like, aha, I see it. I see what's going on there. What's the story behind that? Because those were developed by Igor Kovalyov, or I think I said his name right. What, do you guys friends? Like, did he rip you off? Like, did he take your style? Like, what's like, what is the basis of that kind of, I love that story because I love those, I grew up watching those animations.
Kovalyov was very young animator. He was, later he moved to Moscow. But
He's from Ukraine originally.
Yeah, he was living in Kiev, and it's supposed to be maybe 83 because Triangle was ready in 82. And he was never sent to some festival outside of Soviet Union. And they firstly said that they don't go to show this, or in Soviet Union.
Right.
But still they show this, because this time they show short animation films before feature films, you know, like introduction. And they show this film still. And Igor told me that he went to watch some feature film, and suddenly before this, something, you know, so what is this? What from, you know? And he went out, watched this long film, buy immediately ticket and go to watch second time this. I don't know, maybe or the third time. And then this time we don't know each other, but we met maybe few years after. So we have been like friends, and still now he's sometimes calling me, or I call him when he having birthday. So, and when he made his first film, and it was shown in TV, and many people ask me, Priit, when you managed to make a new film, because realistically,
his wife.
His wife is Hen, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he created. There are influences, but I would say that it's Kovalyov style, you know. But there are kind of influences, but it's okay, it's normal.
But Jeff, you know, I want to add there is two things, you know, so that's very, again, two things very important. It's that Priit way to draw, you know, so his graphic, his character design, it was revolutionary. I mean, so what, you know, so exactly what Igor saw in this triangle, it's way to draw, you know, so it's way to, it was out of this all rules, you know, so nobody was round with the round nose, you know, so that's the characters looks different in different frames, but you still recognize them. So it was one thing, it's this incredible drawing. And another thing, it's a freedom, and also, of course, construction and so on. What about Priit told before? So for me, this also, when I saw Priit's films for first time, this freedom is like, you know, so it's like explosion in your mind.
And with, in Triangle, we made kind of experiment. This lady called Julia. Julia. You know, she is drawn, her clothes is quite the same, all the time. But sometimes she is very slim. Sometimes she is really heavy. Sometimes with big. It's, you know, sometimes opposite. But it's still the same person. Nobody
lost her.
Saying that how it's possible that changing. So you can play with this hero. And it's part of this game. You know?
So
It's the joy of animation too, right? You know, that
yeah,
whatever you want to think it can come out on paper, right? And well, I love that story. I love that story. I think that's it's nice that you have inspired people, obviously, with your work, and you've inspired me. I love just the sketchiness of it. I love boiling. I love when animation boils and moves. There's energy to it. I want to leave some time for our conversation to talk about new works that you guys are developing, because obviously, as artists, as creators, as animators and filmmakers, you're always creating. What are you guys working on right now? Are you guys doing another film together?
Yes, always together.
we're afraid so.
Hey, it's working.
more-
It worked in the past. It should continue to work, right? You haven't killed each other yet, so it's all good, right?
No way.
Yeah, that's also one thing that if somebody making interviews asking, do we fight a lot? No.
Oh yeah.
Nobody asked me that because I work always with studio, with artists who make colors and so on. Nobody asked, do you fight a lot? No, no, if we live together, sleep together, you know, why we have to fight then, you know? It's
No, but it's I think the response in fact is about that we have the same sense of aesthetics.
Yeah.
Also we're this I believe I have also this constructional thinking, you know, so that's I enjoy a lot, you know, so that's what we do. So that is I said that it's like a very hard dependence. I mean, it's like a hard narcotic to make the animation film. I mean, to construct it and to direct it. It's the most exciting moment, like process. You know, so it's very exhausting, but so I just we are two of us, we are in. So when we are doing the film, it's not, you know, so that's this line I want this, please say no, I want this line. We're both sitting looking at script, at drawings, even if Priit do the drawings, we talk about them, you know, so and we all the time searching, try to construct this
the best solution.
Yeah, the brilliant, you know, so the film is the brilliant, and it's every time different, because for every story you have to create its own technique, you know, so that's
you see it you definitely see that.
Yeah, so
like Life without Gabriella Ferri is working, you know, watching monitor, and there are making backgrounds, for example. There are moving image already exists, making background. And we had like big library, we created different structures and had techniques how to make this. And then you making these layers in Photoshop, you know, 40 layers. And it was like more or less like this, saying that let's put this, you know, this small stuff in this right up corner there. No, you're saying maybe a bit bigger, or turn it a bit left. Oh yeah, no, let's change this to this, you know. So it's and it would be strange if moving like making maybe one day this result suddenly start to fight, saying no, don't move this 2 centimeters left, you know. It's
so it's on a different layer.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're working with film, you know, you have to do like, so you go through the very long process. So that's
and I gotta say, it's nice that you guys have each other to work off of, and to sort of like work together, because a lot of times animation is such an existential sort of solitary confinement kind of a thing where you're just sitting there and then you're looking at it and you get tunnel vision and you're like, you lose track of it. Whereas now it's nice that you guys can work in tandem. You're like, no, let's pull back a bit. Let's, you know, so I think that's a really remarkable thing. It's really special that you have that, that you can work together on things like that. What is can you talk about the project you're working on now? Is it a top secret?
No, it's secret, not top secret.
Okay, secret.
It's about terrorists. There are 4 very nice people. They look like it's secret. No, they look like Italian pop singers from 80s, 90s. One of them looked like Gabriella Ferri, and they are this film is mainly about love, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very, so that's, I was thinking what one thing what we didn't mention yet, a lot of in the filmmaking or in our filmmaking is also provocation. We provoke so there are other filmmakers, or we provoke the spectator, we provoke to think about what he was watching, what we are talking about. So we invite him to play the game, to see our film.
It also is possible to describe like this. I would say that very long time, it was before Triangle, I decided that I don't have in my films any messages. I don't moralize. I don't say what is right, what is wrong. Telling stories, strange stories, and I think this is for a lot of people. This is what Olga said. It's provocative because they want to know what is right. Why is they doing this?
Yeah.
And this film, one like central point is maybe 70% of film. It's from security camera. So we showed what have been seen in security camera. We are not responsible to explain why is it doing this, who they are. We don't know. It's security camera, and final result. Yeah, why is it coming to this final results? It's spectator. They can guess what is this, but let's say we don't know.
But it's always exactly provocation. Pilots on the way home was also provocation, so that's, we had a lot of like questions that what is that?
Oh yes. Well, that's good. It makes people think, right? And are you guys, what technique are you using on the new film? Is it sort of traditional still? Are you incorporating more computer elements to it? Is it a blend?
Always working now with computer, and Olga is very good in computer.
Oh, good.
You know what is mock-up?
Motion capture.
Motion capture, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're playing with motion capture. Had you ever thought you'd ever do that, Priit? That you'd ever work in motion capture ever? Is that new for you?
It's new. It's new.
Yeah. Are you having fun?
Yeah, we had 3 fantastic actors.
But I just to mention that Priit was working for Hotel E, if you saw this film. So there is Priit was working with actors for that film. So they were filming actors. He was directing. So for me, it's very first time to working with working with actors. But right. For Priit, that was one of motivation points for starting this project, because as we met the team of actors and Tanel Saar, so it's Estonian. He is an actor and choreograph, and so that's he's Lavaster, how to say he's doing the theater plays, so that's so it was the motivation that we had actors very good. They are physical and physical theater, so they're moving very, very good. And so I knew that Priit was working in Hoteli. So, and it's amazing to see him working with actors. It's brilliant.
But one point is that you are animator, you have to understand this immediately. If this security camera, it's put somewhere quite high. And now if somebody, let's say, walking in direction of this camera, it means that suddenly her upper body getting big and head is very big. And if you just ask animator to animate such kind of things. It's very difficult, and it doesn't look, or let's say, with this cameras we got so funny, positions. So it's we are really excited to work with it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Do you guys know when you're hoping to have it finished and released into the world? A year from now, 2 years from now?
No, maybe next winter or spring.
Oh, great. So we'll have another film on the festival circuit. One thing I wanted to talk about just really quickly, how people see your work. So I know you have DVDs for sale online. Is there any way other people who are watching this can learn more about both of your works or see your works? Where would you send people to check out your work?
We have the world has changed a lot. I mean, that's we have also this system like Movie in Estonia. I mean, this online system, which is like allowed you to watch their films, artistic films online. So for paying some small money, so that's I know that they play our films there, but I don't know if it's available for the whole world. By the way, I have to check it, so to next time to be able to say if it's only in Estonia available or it's available for whole world, because it's really a good chance, because so that with DVDs, that yes, there is still DVD, I think, in Amazon you could order it, but so that's DVD is DVD. So so that's this online system is very good, in fact, for promotion and for showing artistic animations.
And Priit you have a huge filmography. Like how many films have you made, Priit? Like, do you know? Do you know how many it's been? On IMDb it said 22, but that seemed like a lot.
What I made and do together, I think it's more than 5 hours.
5 hours of content, yeah, which is fantastic, right? Considering that animation itself is such a laborious task, that the films you've made have ranged all the way up to 45 minutes, right?
Famous animators, it's maybe like half an hour altogether.
Yeah. Well, and do you ever see yourself making a feature-length film at any point, you two?
Feature film.
Would you ever make a feature animation?
Animation feature, you mean?
Yeah. Would you do it? Do you have an idea for one? Do you think you got it in yet, or you always just want to stay short?
With features that are mainly all animation features, they are made by the rules of editing and so one. Timing, it's by how live action feature is made. Because if it's if we're making let's say 1.5 hours with the same speed and intention what you're making short film, it's very hard to watch probably.
So Gabriela, for us, Life Without
minutes,
Life Without Gabriela Ferry, it was almost like a feature.
But also there are, it's feature costs a lot, and feature is animation feature. This is a product what have to bring money back. So its orientation have to be like all family film. It means there are a lot of things are forbidden. You can do this and this and this. And why I have to make this? It's boring. Because this what we're doing for me is motivating, is that if we created some system and we're not sure, I'm not sure that it's going to work. Okay. So only way to see this, to make this film.
Yeah.
And then you're going to run this bloody marathon. And now you can't stop, especially if you're working alone. Maybe you're feeling that it's not what you want. You can stop this. But if you're working with team, it means that you have to feed them with this material, what you're putting this inside of this machine, and you're running this, and at a certain moment you're feeling that it's never will be done. Step by step, and it's kind of magic. We started from zero, then some small idea, and going to grow, making this team, because in this film we having fantastic 3D person now, having these actors, we're having two very good animators. So, and to work with team, what really want to make your film, and you are happy what they're doing, you know. It's like beauty of life, let's say.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I really hope we can show it at Spark 2023. All right, we're going to aim for that.
We'll keep it. Yeah, we will keep it.
And hopefully we can bring you both over to Vancouver and you can come see this lovely part of the world and experience our wonderful hospitality. I've really enjoyed our
coming. Will be three of us, because our son, he is always with us. Now he is 11, but his first festival was 9 months old, and then he have been in 22 countries.
Oh, fantastic.
Twice in Japan and so on.
Wow. So, yeah, that's great. My daughter, I have a daughter and a son, and my daughter came with me to festivals for a while, and she'd be the little, I'd bring her up on stage with me and she would talk in the microphone like blah, 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 blah. So it's great. I love that you guys are both parents. I'm a parent. There's something really special about being parents. I know we're going a little long here, but I have a question just as parents, like, do you hope your son goes and becomes a filmmaker and animator as well, or do you just want him to run far away and do something different? Like, is he already showing that he can draw? Do you guys show him stuff? Is he excited to be an animator with two animation parents?
He illustrated with Olga, and he illustrated 5 books, not
no, but
like
we copyright, so he draw a lot. And one thing what we decided that we don't touch him. I mean, he is totally free, you know, so that's, but it seems that he is interested.
No, he having all this, you know, stuff around of our house, you know, so he can use this and do what he wants, you know. We never said him that it's not right how you draw. And then you can see this, you know, freedom of choosing drawing. So, and there are, I think there are 2 elements. That one thing they're doing this very quickly. It's they don't make like result like beautiful line or something. It's not reflecting. It's describing.
Sure.
And second moment is they are not able until certain age to control their hand exactly. If you're looking how this person who drawing so fantastic picture, how ugly is this letter, what he writing. So, and this is sometimes I drawing with left hand. To correct, I keeping the pen like this, you know, so, and it's when you're not able to control it's then it's not so boring, because if you draw with so many drawings during this life, it's coming into your hand, so you have to something to do.
But you know what I want to say, that, you know, so we're he's free to decide. Probably we don't know if he will or what. But one thing that we watch a lot of different films, you know, so because, you know, so different films, I mean, all sorts. And so sometimes he's like, he don't want to see anime, for example. He really like, but even always like important thing that we say, look, you could see the bad film as well. Let's talk about it. Why it was so bad, you know? So that's, I mean, I believe that, no, of course, not pornography, you know? So, I mean, you could watch with the child a lot of like different films. I mean, so that's, you know, so that's, for example, The Breakfast on the Grass. He was very small when we was watching it, and I was explaining to him that it was another system, you know, so when Priit was living in, you know, so that's, I mean, they don't understand everything, but they develop themselves. So that's very important thing for us with him to discuss the films we saw together or him was seeing. So it's kind of analytic process that you really, we talk about the design, animation, the stylistic, so about even cut, so that's this is important to talk with them,
But
so
your kids, how old?
My children, I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my 6-year-old loves to draw. She's really into art. She takes lots of art classes, and she's learning about classical artists right now. And my son just scribbles wherever he can and just makes beautiful messes, and I love it. So it's exciting to see that click. But I love what you're saying about watching the films with the children and talking about it and discussing it, because we don't do enough of that. Kids just absorb things and then they go off and play. Whereas I think it's great that you can have those discussions about what do they like about this? What is the aesthetic they like about it, right? And I think that's wonderful advice, I think, for any parent to be able to talk to their kids about it.
About future in this age, it's so long way that they're going to choose what they're going to make in life, but to help them to get some background. So probably he will be some ID person,
we don't know, so we will be happy with everything.
Stuff.
Yeah.
There's inherently, you're going to sort of, it's impossible. Like, my children want to come in my office all the time, and I'm like, get out, it's a death trap, something's going to fall on you because there's too much stuff in here, right? So I'm always shooing them out. But then my daughter's like, I want to draw on your Cintiq, and so she's always like trying to draw while I'm trying to do work, but I let her do it, right? We always have time for her to come in and just scribble. So I think that's fantastic. And one thing I want to leave on with you two, because you're both a wealth of animation knowledge, and I'd like to just pull this out. The next generation is always coming up. We always have new animators. Everyone's being inspired. What brilliant words of advice. Do you have any advice for budding animators that you could provide them based on your experiences that may help them on their animation journey? What would you tell new animators today if you could give them one part of advice?
I think it was some magazine from Hong Kong or Taiwan, and they write me, I don't remember why, they ask, what is my advice to young, let's say, Hong Kong animators? And I don't have enough time, I was on hurry and I write very quickly, but maybe it's, I write that don't trust yourself, read books.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's very important, to read books, to have your imagination working, to say it's exactly.
And trust yourself and don't trust.
Don't trust
yourself.
yourself.
If you just trust, you're losing this critical approach to what you're doing. But if you don't trust, you never finishing your film,
Yeah.
We have seen, because experience of teaching. I was teaching 13 years in Finland. There was in empty place. I made like this department of animation, and there are all generation in Finland, young people. They are my former students, and then 13 years in Estonia. So we tried to create some kind of system, how to teach, how to work with story, and also how to work with character design and also caricature. So, but now it's enough. We find that no teaching anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But-
And Olga, you agree, or do you have any other words of wisdom that you might have that you'd like to tell future animators?
I think it's important to move on. What Priit said, so I mean, don't trust yourself. Be critical to yourself. Or for example, very important to take, like, if you don't see your material anymore because you were sitting exactly alone for a long time, so just step out, go to the garden for 1 week, for 2 weeks, so, and then come back and see it with a fresh eyes. It's not only for film, it's also for illustration, for artwork. so when you are stressed and you want to make a genius film or a piece of work, so it's very good to have like to go outside and to come back.
But there are no like such kind.
No, there's
for advice for everyone.
no, of course not.
Because
the people are different. Yeah, so
people are very different.
yeah. But anyway, so that's and move on. Make one film done, and if you are not happy with it, do another one. So it's also their very how to say dangerous thing that if you are not happy with it, so because you were living with it so a long time, so just leave it alone. Go ahead. So that's another thing.
Well, that's great. Priit, Olga, I've had a remarkable conversation with you both. I've really enjoyed this experience. I am a fan of all your work.
We're having the same feeling. It's
It was very, very, Bambi always will meet Godzilla,
I'll let you guys go, but hey, thank you so much for this. It's been a pleasure, and have a wonderful time, and good luck with your film. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
And see you very soon.
I
by animation.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone.